Sold my last horse this year, so I'm now horseless for the first time in more than 12 years.
Oh my goodness. Oh, hang on.
What else do you want to know? Throw a question at me. I'll chat while you're looking. I'll chat while you're looking for passing.
Okay, you're horseless, but okay, you came to Ontario
Not homeless, but horseless.
to work in the horse business with your horses. But what got you into being on the other side in front of the camera?
That I started doing a long time ago too. I actually took the guy who did it at Northlands Park. He was a gentleman that was kind of the racing secretary and the handicapper, and I took him to task because he never had women doing his selections. He'd have men come up and help him all the time. I said, why don't you ever have any women help out? So he asked me to do it a couple times, and then Northlands Park asked me. They actually fired him and hired me full time the next year. So I kind of stole his job, unfortunately. but I was very happy that he got me into it. So that was in 1995. So I've been doing the on-air stuff for a long time.
What gives you the biggest kick, though? And I've asked my other guests this. You're horseless now, so you're going to miss that, I'm sure. Do you really? I mean, do you get more of a kick though out of handicapping a race? Like, is that something that you said that you liked handicapping races when you were a youngster? Is that something that you really are keen on doing?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much put myself through university betting and handicapping, making money, mostly thoroughbreds because I found it more challenging. You can make a lot more money that way. So I've been very successful in terms of making money handicapping. The horse business was good to me too. So yeah, I'm in a position where life's all right.
Do you have any special angles or approaches to picking your horses that you find you have the most success with? I know you do your own speed figures. That must take up a lot of work.
It does. It probably, to handicap a card, to start with getting my speed figures together and everything, takes me about 3 to 4 hours, depending on how many horses there are. And then to analyze a card of racing once the night's done, like tomorrow I'll go home and it'll take me, there's 8 races tonight, so it'll take me an hour and a half to do my speed figures, watch replays, do my notes, and get ready for the next card.
Well, it's a good thing we have Thursdays off then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And do you plan on getting back with the horses again at some point, or are you going to wait and see how that pans out? Or?
I'm too old now, Jennifer. I've been stepped on, I've been pushed around, I've been run over, I've been bitten, I've had it all. I've been there, I've done that. I'm not into it anymore. You get to a certain point where it just physically gets very difficult. It's and being female as well made it challenging anyways, but no, I've been run over one too many times.
Are you enjoying living? I assume you live in Ontario. Do you still have family in other parts of Canada? Do you like Ontario?
I like it, and I mean, if you want to be in racing, this is the place to be, even with the challenges we've faced this year, but it still is a quality world-class program. I still have all my family. My mom and dad are still out in Alberta, so I go out there to Northlands Park and do the broadcast for the Canadian Derby once a year, and so it's a prepaid trip out there.
How far in advance will you start looking at horses? I passed out past performances for the Rothmans, the Pattison Canadian International today. How far in advance will you start looking at that race?
I kind of keep an ear as to what's happening in terms of who might be coming and who isn't coming, but until I can actually get the firm past performances without morning line, once the entries are done and I have race lines to look at, that's when I'll look at the field.
Do you have a favorite that you are sort of interested in right now? I mean, do you think Forte de Marmy is good enough to beat a field like this year?
I would love to. He's in such good form right now, and I love Roger Atfield. You will never meet a classier guy than him if you tried, but I really like Joshua Tree. I just, every time he comes here, I'm so impressed by how he looks physically, and he shows up with his A game every time. I have to like him again.
And I know it's very important for handicappers that are watching the races. Now, a lot of us watch them on the computer, the TV, and, your information on how the horses look in the paddock and going to the track is invaluable, and we don't get it enough at some of these racetracks. And I'm sure that's something that you really pride yourself on, is seeing these horses day in and day out. Again, a lot of work to prepare for the next card.
Well, it is. I mean, I take copious notes, especially with first-time starters, because I want, as soon as they try something different when they go long for the first time, I want to remember physically if I think that that's going to be appropriate for them in advance. So yeah, I like doing that. It's kind of the niche that I've found here. At first I would talk to trainers and stuff, but you know, I mean, I've been approached as a trainer before and asked, well, what do you think of your horse? Well, what are you supposed to say? I mean, I like him, and then he runs up the track, you look like an idiot. I don't like him, he wins, you look like you're a cheater. You know, it's a very thankless position to be put in, to be asked as a trainer what you think of your horse. So I prefer to use my own eyes, and I'm pretty consistent in my comments. Like tonight, for example, Lord of Greatness raced earlier. He's a horse, he's a stud horse, and he comes over here and he's always fired up and warm, and tonight he was cool as a cucumber, and I actually went over to Bob Tiller and I said, what's up, Bob? This horse kind of cool. And he says, I was just thinking the same thing. He says, I don't know if it's good or not. But I thought it was good because he looked kind of relaxed to me. So he went and he won. He raced really well. I mean, he was 2-1. He wasn't like he was 20-1. But there's stuff like that. If you can stay consistent with it and remember, you can pick out horses.
That's great. Well, we really appreciate you sneaking up here. I know it's difficult with what's going on there. Obviously, you're not going to be commenting on this race here.
No, I took a race off. It doesn't happen often, but I thought it would be nice to come up and see the people that came here, and yeah, it's always fun to meet people.
Well, certainly I'm sure there must be questions for Dawn. I know Sam always has questions. I sort of fired off a lot of questions here at her. I wanted to make sure that I addressed everything that I had in my notes there. Do you have a horse that you have on? Do you have a horses to watch list?
Yeah, well, it's kept in my notes. I don't keep a separate horses to watch list, but I know from watching replays, I keep copious notes. I actually, if you use Daily Racing Form's formulator program, you can input your own notes, and then they come up right on my own program. So that's how I keep my horses to watch list.
Is there one horse that you're interested in, perhaps giving out as a tip anytime soon, or can you think of anybody, or even just tonight? I mean, we asked Emma Jane about the late double today, UK girl on to Whippet. We were wondering about Whippet in the last race. He seemed quite so sluggish last time, but was there anybody that triggered your fancy in the last couple of races today?
I like Whippet. I'm not sure if he's going to win, but I do think he's going to finish somewhere in the top 3. So for people who play triactors and that kind of thing, but I like the 5 horse in that last race. That's Mighty Quinn. My speed figures came up pretty good for this one last and he finished second, and he finished well. So to me, it looks like he might be rounding into good form right now. He's a possibility.
There you go, Mighty Quinn, right from Don. It's really cool to meet you. Yes.
Any key horses that you're looking for at the Cup? There's no classics,
Breeders' Cup question now.
Yeah, there's a ton. You know, you can see so much happening right now, and I love the coverage that they do because you get to find out how the horses are working. And you know, if you just go online, even to Daily Racing Form, the guys that tweet all the time are sending things. I guess My Royal Delta has been looking amazing. Of course, Mark Cassie has a couple of really exciting youngsters. My Conquistador looking like she's going to enter into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and I know Eurico Da Silva, just talking to him, he thinks that she is super special. So she's one to watch, and I'm really cheering for them because they just spent a whole bunch more money at the sale. There's some new owners for us. The guy's got a lot of money, and he's bringing nice horses here to Woodbine for us to watch and wager on. So other horses, I don't know, Fort Larned, I'm thinking might be better. You know, I think the great thing about Breeders' Cup, you know, there's going to be long shots. You know there are, so it's kind of a good thing. Handicap it, and then go to your like 3rd or 4th pick, and those are the ones to support because they just pay so much better.
The classic is really looking stacked. Lars coming off a huge race, and Monzo man's really stepped up his game. He had a big win last time at Santa Anita, so really interesting.
And of course,
always run the honest race.
Yeah, Game On Dude will.
So, and you know, he blew it the last year. You think he can step up?
He seems to be so much more mature this year, and he's on his home track. So I think that home field advantage for him is going to play huge. I don't know who can step up and beat him. I'm almost looking just at exactors in that race because he's been a freak this year.
But we know how hard it is when you're immersed in one season, and we have a lot of races and a lot of horses right now. My goodness, the cards are getting huge. You know, it's hard even just, you know, when I'm looking at all the notes already, the horses working at Breeders' Cup, I'm like, oh my gosh, when am I going to get a chance to look at all those horses up close? And yeah, I've seen all these races, but when someone poses you those questions, right, it's like So what do you like in the Breeders' Cup Classic? Oh my gosh, when is that race? It's like there's so much to do before then, right? Well, that's great. Are there any more questions for Dawn? Sam, it's nice. I don't know. Have you been to the racing club meeting before?
I don't think I've never had a chance. I've always meant to come, but it just hasn't worked out.
One of our awards day.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yes. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. No, she's puts a lot of work into it, and that's what we appreciate when we're betting races. I mean, we love, to have this extra, work sort of done for us, as it were. But someone who really, you can tell, is passionate and enjoys what she's doing. So we appreciate you coming by, Dawn.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
so much.
It's great to see all you people coming too. Thank you. Thank you.